very warm welcome to His Excellency, colleague, friend, CODESRIA laureate, and great supporter of the Council, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Professor Ismail Madior Fall, for whom I retain good memories of the collaboration which we had during my time as Executive Secretary of the Council. Sheila Bunwari, who is here from Mauritius, Director of Research at the time, will also have some such similar recollections of the collaboration with Ismail Madior Fall. I would also particularly, I'm moved actually to see an esteemed senior colleague, Professor Boubacar Bari, who is here with us, former Deputy Executive Secretary of the Council. And a bit emotional for me because he played a very important role in my own entry into CODESRIA in a research network on social movements. And it's good to see you, hale and hearty, Professor Bari. Let me basically say that in relation to the work of the scientific committee, on whose behalf I stand before you today to welcome you to this assembly, we recognize ourselves in the discourse which was presented to welcome you by the Executive Secretary. And I would like to move a motion to adopt that discourse as a framing basis for much of the conversation which we will be having. It's also a shortcut way of limiting my own time on this podium today. However, I would like to say that times of uncertainty, such as we are going through, pose many challenges to us. And as much as we reflect over the next few days on what these challenges mean for our people, for our countries, for our continent, and for global Africa, it is equally important for us to find time to reflect and pose the question of what this will mean, this period will mean for the Council itself. Much of the period that has passed over the last few years has been characterized by major swings in politics of a kind which I would argue has increased the precarity of our existence as a council. And to the extent to which we are gathered here today to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the council and to host the 16th General Assembly, I think it has to be on account of the creativity and the resilience and determination exhibited by the Executive Committee under the leadership of Isabel Kashmiro and the Executive Secretariat under the leadership of Godwin Murunga. However, over and above what they have done to keep the boats afloat and to keep us networked and connected, we must, as individual members of the Council and as a community, step back and ask not just what role for science in periods of uncertainty, but what future for our own council. A council which, if it is to live the next 50 years, which we all pray it will live the next 50 years, I intend to be here for the centenary. I don't know about others. But those next 50 years will be years in which a major re-engineering and rethinking of the mode of functioning of the institutional foundations of our council will need to be rethought. And I just wanted, on behalf of the scientific committee, to put this issue also on the table from the outset. Not so much to sour the mood of celebration, but to invite a reflection that in an uncertain world characterized also by diminishing solidarity, diminishing cross-border cooperation, much more insularity, even xenophobia. Historic alliances are being reconstituted in a way in which, for us in CODESRIA, we also have to go back to the drawing board and think of the way in which we are going to ensure that our institute, our council, not only survives, but actually thrives and prospers for the future. Welcome to the 16th General Assembly. Happy 50th anniversary, CODESRIA. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks very much, Bayo. Next, we are very honored to have a representative of the academic leadership of the continent in the Vice Chancellor of the University of South Africa, Professor Puleng Lenkabula. Professor Lenkabula made history as the first female director and Vice Chancellor of UNISA in its 150 years history. Welcome, Professor Lenkabula.
Bonjour, bon dia, good morning, assalamu alaikum, good morning. Yes, I'm happy to. Let me take this opportunity to recognize His Excellency Minister Ismail Fall, the Director of Higher Education, Professor Sharif Dahaba, the President of CODESRIA, Professor Isabel Casemiro, the Executive Secretary of CODESRIA, Dr. Godwin Murunga, the Chair of the Scientific Committee of CODESRIA, Professor Oli Koshi, esteemed guests, speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm truly honored to be invited by the Council for the Development of Social Sciences in Africa to deliver the address on the occasion of the 16th General Assembly of the Council. I'm particularly elated because since the establishment of CODESRIA, the universities have been central to its imagination and support. I speak with the understanding of UNISA and other rectors representing many universities in the continent who would have benefited to the strengthening of their university through the work of the of CODESRIA. A General Assembly of CODESRIA in many things is rolled into one. It is usually one of the largest gatherings of the social sciences, humanities scholars in the continent and its global participants. It's an intellectual celebration of ideas and really rethinking around the present as we imagine the future. We are hopeful that the 16th General Assembly will particularly be auspicious in the year that marks, similarly for our university, 150 years. This Golden Jubilee is quite important for us to celebrate, not only for the commitment of CODESRIA to creating and forming intellectuals that are committed to the continent, its scholarship, its civilizations, and its knowledge systems, but also those who project the best that Africa embodies, but also that derives from the continent. We owe the Council a great deal for the work and the survival of many universities in the continent. For the past 50 years, CODESRIA has been questioning and guiding the conscience of not only our universities, but also of the knowledge systems in the global arena, including in our universities. So we see CODESRIA as synonymous with the evolutionary growth, but also the advocacy of knowledge as a nurturer of the academic and intellectual talent. It is my contention that CODESRIA has made an immense contribution to the formation of university management and leaders across the continent. I'm one such example. Many of us who are now in the leadership of universities would have found mentors within this community. It has contributed not only to this, but to the scholarship, leadership, transformation, and has invited conscientious leaders who are attentive to the exigencies of our societies. Amina Mama, among others, appreciates the transformative role of Codestria. And elsewhere, she writes that Codestria has made its contribution to knowledge production in the continent. It has enabled us to resist the bounds and logics of state or market that have been decimating our communities. It has enabled us to strengthen our teaching, our research, and engagement. The supple nimbleness with the Council has navigated the past 50 years in the heydays of African developmental states to the phase, in the words of Thandika Mkandawire, the maladjustment of the African economies and societies with deleterious effects on the African public higher education system. At this point, when many of the university could not function, Codestria took the role to being the light and the center. On behalf of the rectors, presidents, and vice chancellors of universities of the continent, present virtually or in this meeting, I express our collective appreciation to the Council for responding with creativity and rigor to the challenges confronting higher education. I also would like to recognize the grants that Codestria has made towards thesis writing to master's and doctoral candidates, the workshops that equip not only the students but the academy to strengthening their competencies. Finally, the challenges that social sciences and humanities specifically in the higher education sector more broadly face every day are the challenges that the Pan-African intellectual platforms such as Codestria require to enable us to engage. The Pan-African platform has brought together workers from the continent in the diaspora. The Council, in its existential significance to Africa, must at all be celebrated as a community that leads us back to the founding of the Council, whose membership in 1992 was made exclusively of institution, but has allowed us to grow. We're truly appreciative of these investments that Codestria has made, is making in the aftermath of COVID-19, with new questions that we require to raise. Finally, it would be remiss of me not to convey a personal message of gratitude. When I came to the 13th General Assembly of Codestria, I met mentors. I met a lot of people who took interest in our growth intellectually, including the executive secretary here. We are really appreciative of these mentors who made it important that the Codestria becomes our sacrosanct, if not a sacred, intellectual home. On behalf of the vice chancellors at this assembly, I wish the Council a successful celebrations, deliberations, and memorable 50th anniversary celebrations. I thank all the mentors that have been available for many of us who have led into the leadership of people such as Godwin. Thank you. I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Professor Lenkabola. Aujourd'hui, nous sommes particulièrement honorés de pouvoir compter parmi nous le professeur Ismaël Madior Fall, qui est le ministre des Affaires étrangères et des Sénégalais de l'extérieur. Avant de rejoindre le gouvernement, le professeur Ismaël Madior Fall était le chef du département de sciences politiques à l'université Cheikh Anta Diop. Professeur, je vous souhaite la bienvenue. Le professeur Fall va procéder à l'ouverture officielle des travaux de l'Assemblée générale.
Présidente du Codestria, Monsieur le représentant du ministre de l'Enseignement supérieur, Monsieur le secrétaire exécutif du CODESRIA, Monsieur le président de la commission scientifique, cher Olokoshi Adebayor, Madame le vice-chancelier de l'Université du Sud, Mesdames, Messieurs les ambassadeurs, Mesdames, Messieurs, distingués invités en vos rangs, titres et qualités. Je dois dire d'abord que je suis ici pour représenter son Excellence M. Macky Sall, président de la République du Sénégal, qui, pour son attachement à la recherche, aurait bien voulu être là, à vos côtés. C'est un agenda surchargé qui l'a empêché d'être là. C'est pour ça qu'il m'a dépêché pour le représenter. Je voudrais aussi souhaiter la bienvenue aux participants de la 16e Assemblée générale du CODESRIA, mais magnifier aussi la qualité exceptionnelle des relations entre notre pays et le CODESRIA. Depuis 1973, est basé sur un accord de siège qui confère un statut diplomatique et des immunités au CODESRIA, afin de garantir son indépendance et de soutenir un engagement intellectuel efficace de cette institution de recherche. Le CODESRIA, cela a été dit, c'est connu de par le monde, est l'une des plus importantes institutions de recherche du continent et dans le monde en matière de sciences sociales. De par son ancienneté, il est cinquantenaire aujourd'hui, on fête son 50e anniversaire, mais aussi de par son champ d'intervention, qui est à la fois multidimensionnel et pluridisciplinaire. C'est le lieu de saluer la contribution remarquable du CODESRIA au développement des sciences humaines et sociales en Afrique. C'est en fait un outil à la disposition de nos communautés de chercheurs qui viennent de tout le continent et de la diaspora. C'est aussi un outil à la disposition de nos décideurs. À l'occasion de cette 16e Assemblée générale, il convient de saluer les nombreuses réalisations du CODESRIA. Tout à l'heure, le secrétaire exécutif, cher Godwin, vous disiez que vous êtes un enfant du CODESRIA. Mais je dois vous rappeler que le CODESRIA a fait beaucoup d'enfants. Il y a beaucoup d'enfants, et parmi ces enfants, je peux réclamer en faire partie. Je me considère aussi comme un enfant du CODESRIA. Je me réclame comme enfant du CODESRIA parce que la même année, Godwin et moi, nous avons bénéficié des small grants, les petites subventions du CODESRIA.